Halloween! I don't normally review games that are less than a year old. The only ones I've ever done were Helltaker in 2020 and that Paw Patrol kart racer in 2022. Somehow Kiss Delivering Bear is a hot debate. I'm more into reviewing some older stuff like mostly the late 90s and the 2000s, my childhood years to be exact. I do tend to review newer games from time to time, games that are 5 years old at minimum. I reviewed some more this year and they're great. Well, except Asphalt 9 and Wheels of Aurelia, but I have 3 issues with reviewing newer games. One of them is their reliance on being live services for most AAA games. Yeah, it's that tiresome topic everyone and their moms talked about. Live service games that got released with bare bones content most of the time, with more stuff added over time, plus daily challenges, battle passes, risk of going permanently offline in less than a year, all that bullshit. Second, these games, especially recently released ones, tend to have much more coverage than some months after release. I don't want to chase any clouds nor get the video lost in the algorithmic shuffle, so I tend to upload a video like this months or years later. That's when no one gives us much shit anymore. Unless it's Five Nights at Freddy's. And finally, I'm really outdated. I don't have a PS5, nor an Xbox Series console, nor a very powerful PC by today's standards. The latest games console I own is an Xbox One X, a 6-year-old version of a 10-year-old console at this point. It's still getting games for it, sure, but less so these days. I'm glad I managed to upgrade my PC after 3+ years of sticking with integrated Vega graphics, but I doubt it will run Baldur's Gate free. But thankfully, I have this indie game that's neither a live service thing, nor too intensive for my PC. If that's good or bad, I'm not sure. Then again, I'm the person to review Paw Patrol Grand Prix. For today, my friends, I'm going to talk about the recently released Cosmic Wheels Sisterhood. Back to square one this year, it's another Spanish game. It's not called Torrente free at least. The Cosmic Wheels Sisterhood was developed by the Valencia-based studio Deconstruct Team. They did loads of adventure games, though few are well known, like Gods Will Be Watching and the Red String Club. Like those two, it was published by Devolver Digital a few months ago in August of 2023 for Windows and the Switch. Guess which version I'm not playing on. As time goes by, this gesture gets vaguer. Since this is a recently released game with some hard-hitting topics, I'm not spoiling the entirety of it. If this interests you enough, you just have to play it yourself. Don't worry, I'll spoil the shit out of another game from this year. It involves a horny fridge. I will do a synopsis of the game, but other than that, it's just gameplay and presentation talk and nothing else. It's gonna be a quick one though. The game is heavily reliant on the story to the gameplay. This is a story of a fortune teller named Fortuna. Unfortunately for her, she's under house arrest for millennia for foretelling a terrible end to a coven.
The end is nigh!
It's been 2 centuries since it began, and she's feeling very lonely. Man, I can't imagine how I'd survive a really long time alone. You crack me up, little buddy! I miss Mandy. Tired of it, she decides to just summon a goddamn behemoth and make them her familiar. Some witches have cats as familiars, others have birds or lizards, but then there's Fortuna the fucking devil for one, and summoning them is bad news to the covens, but let's ignore that. After Fortuna's tarot cards got confiscated in the arrest, Abramar the behemoth teaches her how to make a new original set for fellow clients. When she ever becomes free from her loneliness, of course. Over the course of 4 days, they teach the 4 elements required to make them, which makes her some kind of pain or disturbance. It's not until she reaches the fire part of the course, the most painful of them all because you have to give up one of these 3 for the seal to be completed. This sucks. Oh well, fuck a friends group. And then the game hits you with a cinematic that resembles an opening to a cartoon. It's tough. Thus begins Chapter 1. So she wakes up and Abrama points out a letter from an arbiter named Thea, who wants to come over and check on her. She accepts it and already Thea arrived. Fortuna tells her about being imprisoned in her asteroid house for so long and thinks it's a harsh punishment. Thea then decides to request a lift of her sentence, and after reading a card for her, Fortuna is now free and gets to read letters from her peers. The game jumps around from the past when she was immoral until becoming a witch to the present where her cards to her friends and others. But I'm not talking about the story or the backstory too much. The game is part visual novel, part deck builder. The visual novel part isn't complicated to explain. You read shit and decide which dialogue option you want to go with. Of course, choices have consequences, like how you can make Fortuna predict the outcome of the world in one of the past chapters. Great, she caused Kainia to become self-aware. Then you have the deck building and reading part of the game. Here you get to choose which background sphere, arcane, and symbol you want, and place them how you like. They of course cost elemental points, 4 kinds of them, and to earn them you have to read the cards to someone. Making a card is quite intuitive, either with a mouse or a touchscreen. It's simple drag and drop with rotation and resize options and layer placement. Reminds me of those kids activity programs on PC. Not that I'm complaining. You can add stuff from the arcanes and samples you've chosen for extra flair, and when you're done, it is now available to be read. You click on this window upstairs to check if any familiars are on it. Looks like I'm playing The Sims here, and I can't speed it up. And if there are, you click on one, read the mail, and accept. You get a little conversation, get to know the visitor more, and when you're comfortable enough, you get to reading. It's simple, you get 1, 2, or more issues the visitor is facing, and wants to know what would happen in the future. You're given a random card to put on one of them, and select which phrase would give you the points you need to make more cards. That's basically it. You can also earn a few extra points by reading interactive fiction or bed. It's simple to understand, so for any gameplay purists out there, I'm sorry to disappoint. But then again, the name of the game is story reading, and as far as I went, it's not bad. It explores some hard-hitting topics like politics, sexuality, gender dysphoria, and others without being heavy-handed nor tasteless. Can get unsubtle at times, but overall, it's good. And you get to meet some cute and, dare I say it, sexy characters along the way. I really do love the pixel art graphics here, not much to complain about, they're cute. I also love the music here, composed by Fingerspit, though it can get loud at times. Otherwise, it's great to listen to. This was gonna be a full-on review, but after doing my GTA 3 video for so long, it got reduced to a quick review. But I will say, it is quite a chill game. It can be heartwarming, it can be heart-wrenching, but it strikes a good balance of both. I recommend you try it out, it's like 20 bucks on Steam. So November is coming next, which means I have to review 3 games that have a lot in common. Don't expect anything interesting, they're all racing games.